Irish Seed Savers basically came about because a lady called Anita Hayes, who's an American lady, she came over to Ireland back, I think it was in the mid to late 80s, and she was interested in what kind of heritage varieties of apples and seeds and stuff that Ireland had. And when she discovered that there was no collection whatsoever and that slowly they were all dying out, she decided to start Irish Seed Savers. So we became, I suppose, the national conservation for seeds and apples in Ireland. In the older part of the land, she started a very small garden with just seeds and apple trees, and then slowly that grew and grew and grew, and after 25 years, and it's been 25 years now, she had 20 acres of land and lots of staff, and she no longer works here, but she is our founder. And her husband as well, Tommy Hayes, he supported her through it as well. So the aim of Irish Seed Savers, I suppose, would be to conserve and preserve the kind of heritage varieties of apples and seeds that grow well in an Irish climate.
People can come and visit and have a look around themselves, and while they're here they can see what variety they like the look of, they like the taste of. People's taste can be completely different. We have tasting tours here every year. You might have 10 people, 8 people might love an apple and 2 people really don't like it at all. We conserve the Irish collection, so if it has documentation or history in Ireland, if it's well known to have grown here, then we'll conserve it here. Now another category will be a variety that's not actually Irish, it may be English or French or American, but it grows really well here.
Relying on very few food crops means being very vulnerable. You know, the Great Potato Famine in the 1800s is a perfect example of this. Having as much diversity as possible will ensure that there's always going to be something that will thrive and will evolve in the right direction.
Some of the varieties are over 500 years old, and they're cuttings from cuttings from cuttings, going back over decades and centuries back to the original tree.
Some volunteers come every single week, and they've been coming for years, and they do absolutely brilliant work. I mean, they know the place in and out because they've been coming for so long. Other volunteers, they might only come for events, but we have a lot of people who support us locally in the community. So what they do is they become a supporter. They would give us a fee, which basically helps us to sustain ourselves, and in return we offer them a selection of seeds with different articles and information. We give them 10% off all the workshops, and without their support, we would maybe cease to exist, really, to be honest, because a lot of government funding is cut.
We're all about food growing for the ordinary person.
In the last 50 years, let's say, there's been a huge loss of biodiversity in agriculture. Once upon a time, every village, every region had their own varieties. Everybody would save their own seeds. It's estimated about 80% of the variety that existed 100 years ago no longer exists.
I grew up with my parents on, they only had about half an acre, but they were very self-sustainable. So they grew all their own vegetables, they had apple trees, they had chickens.
I love working outdoors. I grew up on a farm, so it's great to be outside. I try and do my office work as fast as I can to get out. Even if it's a rainy day, it's still better to be out in it.
It's a lovely place to work, and it feels fulfilling that you're kind of doing something that you believe in.